How do I find a real estate mentor? Now, this question gets asked all the time, and I think for good reason, because it's very important to have a mentor. But I think people assume that having a mentor, it needs to be some title, it needs to be some paid position. Some of the strongest mentors that I have are very close friends that have different knowledge bases, different skill sets, different experiences, different tools and resources that I don't have yet. And they can give me a path to those. But first and foremost, we have a really good friendship. And I think that's what's important. So how do you find these people? Now, I've needed mentors in lots of different areas of my life, and I've needed it to get into different industries. And real estate is one of them. And so I think one of the most important things you can do is get in the right rooms. Make sure you are surrounding yourself with good people that know other good people. And then you want to see if you can add value. So you don't get in those rooms and start asking for things. You might ask some questions, but you're not asking for things. So when you get in the room, you try to lead with value. What can you bring to the table that other people may not have? What experiences do you have? Do you think differently than other people? Do you have a different background? Like, were you previously a personal trainer? And some of these investors in this room really want to get in shape, and that's important to them. And they talk about their health a lot. Take them to a workout, help them out, add value. There are numerous ways you can add value that you might not think of, but find a way that you can add value. I would ask for advice, not mentorship. Mentorship, again, is like asking someone to be your boyfriend or girlfriend. They just want to be friends. Let's just hang out. Let's just have a good time. And naturally in conversation, this advice will come out and these conversations will come out. And eventually you'll get unsolicited advice once you grow the relationship where you don't even have to ask. They just know what you're going through. They're going to give you a heads up on certain things they're seeing in the market. They're going to be talking to you about your thoughts on things and how you would respond or act. And that would give you insight into their mind and them insight into your mind as well. You want to execute, not just talk. And I think that's the biggest thing. So I've had a number of people come up to me and they want advice and they want me to help them. And I'm always open to connecting people and helping them. And I love to see their success. But when they don't follow up and they don't say what they're going to do, or they don't show any ambition behind the talk, I get worn out pretty quickly with that relationship from like, I'm going to be someone who helps. From now, I'm just going to I might be able to point you in the right direction, but I'm probably going to spend less time with you. And so if you show you're going to take action and you show you're going to show up the next day and the next day and the next day, and you're going to put in the work, a lot of successful people will spend a lot of time with you because they want to see you be successful. Not necessarily because they want anything out of it. It's really interesting how that works. They get enjoyment and fulfillment now that they found success and giving that to someone else or helping someone else find that same success. You want to be specific with your questions, but low maintenance. A good rule of thumb is if you can Google the question, you don't want to ask this person. Reason being is because it's not worth their time to explain to you something you can read in a book or Google. What is worth their time is sharing their mindset, their experiences, their journey, their thoughts on certain things, how they got to where they got. That's what you want to learn from these mentors. And then you can go connect the dots on Google or AI or any other tools that you use after. Like, hey, they mentioned this concept, BRRRR method. They mentioned the 1031 exchange. They mentioned this, write it down during the conversation, but they don't need to tell you exactly how to do those things. You can go Google that. And so you go do your research and then pair everything together. But then if you have a question about the 1031 afterward, you can go ask them what was their experience in doing a 1031. Was it worth it? When would they do it? When would they not do it? Just their experience, not legally, not the process or anything like that. Target the people ahead of you, but not far ahead of you. I like to have a good range. You want to have a very strong relationship with people in the same level as you, quote unquote, because they can share their experiences and they can help you get to know more people. You want to have relationships with people who are a little bit ahead of you, where they can understand where you are now and what challenges you're having, and they can help you through those challenges. And then you want a relationship, probably fewer relationships, with people who have made it far above where you are now. And the reason I say that is because they tend to think differently. Where some people who have just made it a little bit further ahead of you, that might be as far as they want to go. They may have reached their destination and they may have a different mindset. So I would say if your goal is to get really far ahead of where you are now, then you probably should have one or two of those people in your network to understand how their mindset works. And so when you hit these barriers, these limits that other people are telling you is a barrier or a limit or something you shouldn't move past, you can go to that person that's far beyond that and ask them how they got past that barrier or why they decided to move beyond that barrier. In my opinion, you need relationships all over the place. You need relationships at the same level. You need relationships just ahead of you, and you need relationships far ahead of you. And then lastly, you need relationships just behind you, because just as important as it is for you to learn and get ahead, you will learn so much more if you are able to help other people get ahead too. So you help other people, bring them up with you and your success. I think that's equally as important, as fulfilling, and it'll teach you just the same. You get to learn from these people that you are helping as well. They're going to think different. They're going to have different perspectives. They're not going to be watered down from what certain industries tell them is necessary. It's important to have that fresh perspective as well. I would say if there's anything you take from this, is that it's not a formal thing. It's creating a friendship where that friend has different skill sets, knowledge base, experiences, tools and resources that you don't yet have, and you could benefit and learn from that. They can support you and you can support them. So get out there, find a good mentor or two, and then make sure that you are also bringing other people with you.